Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And you all, today we are talking about the new templates of the Golden Age with Elizabeth Wisen. And it's if y'all are new to Elizabeth, I would just recommend just take a deep breath, relax, be open to this intelligence that streams through her. And it's going to feel like home. You're going to recognize the truth within it or the stimulation of something within you as this conversation unfolds. And we're going to talk into how we can build the golden age. How can we survive and thrive during the coming shift? And how we can use these new templates to reconnect to natural law. This is a big conversation. I'm so excited about this because it's part of this expansion that we're in. A lot of times we're expanding, but we're going into and what's coming in and what's the astrology saying and it's there's a groundedness to all this elevation. And Elizabeth's so good at piecing it together. So it's an amazing call. She has a special offer that we'll go through in a little bit. We'll take Q&A also, but I want to dive in. Elizabeth, welcome to today's call. It's wonderful to see you here.
Yes, thank you. From Ecuador in a entertaining blackout, so I'm surrounded in flashlights. But
Great.
yes, glad to be here.
So why this conversation today for the new templates of the Golden Age?
Well, it's been interesting because usually I'll get these wonderful insights, especially around solstices,
Mm.
where I'll see, oh, okay, well, this is what I need to offer the collective. And so, like this last year, it's been galactic history and Earth history through parables, which have been very profound. And then this past year and the year before, the 12 light bodies, the 12 dimensions of consciousness. And all these things seem very, very clear. But now we're in a completely different place as usual. It's always amazing because our solar system is in a very special place. It's in an activating place. It takes 225 million years to go all the way around the galaxy. And we've only experienced a small portion of it, but the portion that we're in is in perfect divine timing. We've timed it, all of us, all of these eons, to get to this point here now all together, and this solstice especially.
Good chills.
And it really feels
Yeah.
always big. But this one, I know that we get to solstices and it's like, yeah, it's big. This one's different because this one's a harmonic convergence. And all the ley lines are getting wider. This is a measurable effect. They're going to continue to get wider, and they're getting wider, and they're starting to have an actual measurable frequency change that's aligned with the galactic current sheet that's hit us, and we're in the middle of that current sheet, and we're in a special place in the galaxy. Plus, we're coming out of a Kali Yuga. So all these things, lots of windows all together. Now, when I say templates for the new world, the golden age, these are patterns. These are useful patterns, and useful patterns that we've gathered over the past 800,000 years as Homo sapiens. And these useful patterns, the reason why there's not a clear list of, well, what templates is she going to teach about? Is, my friend, it's because they're coming literally week by week, and they're coming through you. They're coming from you. So for the first time, I'm teaching classes that are determined by you. This is a little different way than I've ever taught before. And so these are the templates that are coming from us, what we're desiring from our soul level, and that you've asked for. So some of them that I know for sure we're going to talk about in our future classes, but that are coming through all of us now. This next one on Monday coming up is going to be universal compassion. And these things will show up if you're willing right now, as we get closer to solstice. They show up like these echoes in consciousness. So I keep hearing from people all around me the past week, compassion, 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 all these different vantage points on compassion. I'm like, that's the next one. Or
Yeah.
I'll have all these emails from all different people who've never talked to each other ever. And they're all like, we want to talk about conscious death. What is conscious death? And there's another one. And so there's all these wonderful different pieces that are coming from you, all of the collective, the light workers who are connected on Indra's net, the second dimension. And that's what's happening. So this is a very different way of being. It's a different way of teaching. And I like to be on that edge where we can play with new ways of doing things. But these are the templates that we're going to take with us that create the foundation for the golden age. They're different than many of the templates that we've used before because these are the outcomes of 800,000 years of effort, 800,000 years of suffering and joy. So that's what's happening with these templates, these patterns, and they're all arising now, immediately. It's in the now, it's in the ever-present now that it's happening.
What's the promise or the implications of the golden age?
So the golden age is an inevitability. It's a moment in time. This has been seen by other remote viewers. The CIA's been seeing it for ages with their remote viewers, myself as a remote viewer, other remote viewers. When you push yourself hard enough to go see this future of humanity, you'll always end up at this big wall. Every time, it doesn't matter which timeline you take. And so you could hang out in the fifth dimension and keep pushing it and pushing it, and you're always going to see humanity end on this wall. And the assumption by like people in the CIA and stuff, they said, well, it must be a micronova or a supernova, and then we're all done. It's not true. It's us. It's the Great Awakening. It's the light workers finally igniting an evolutionary moment, a punctuated equilibrium of evolution. That's a term that Dr. Stephen Jay Gould came up with a long time ago to describe how evolution really works. And it's a big punctuated moment. It's a flash. It's a bright moment, and it's you. It's you. It's us. And we wake up. Well, we wake up to what? Well, memory, our soul's memory. So the promise of the golden age is this new species, Homo luminous, the human of light. How Homo sapiens then get pushed into a completely new way of being. And there's going to be, for a long time, there's going to be multiple different kinds of humans on the earth. People have seen that before too. They describe it as like different dimensions. We're actually experiencing it even now, where it sort of feels like we're invisible to certain people, and other people can totally get us. And a lot of our friendships and relationships are changing and falling away. But then there's these moments where we're like finding these new connections that are way different than we've ever experienced. And all this memory comes online. So Homo luminous is the human of light, the human who remembers. The other people who know about this actually, and I always like to give them great credit, are the Amazonian tribes that I live near, especially the Kogi. And the Kogi, they talk about this human of light. They talk about the 12,000 year cycle, the pole shifts. They talk about the long 800,000 year cycle. And they also talk about how we are all preparing as the transition team to become this new human, this human of light, the human that remembers. And I perceive that flash as very much like the original flash that happened when the first human race, the Lyrans, who created the human body and DNA, how they entered in as a soul with all their memory from the beginning of time into the very first human bodies. And that flash was actually what created eventually the galactic wars, because it was so much power that it was seen by other galaxies. And really, it's that same recreation that is going to end the galactic wars as well. And so it's us, that's the promise. The promise is true remembrance, which is beautiful and brutal. It's also the end of the galactic wars, and it's the true sovereignty of our souls. It's soul level consciousness sovereignty. That's the ultimate outcome. And it's something that all we have to do is, at the moment to get there, is to keep noticing what comes up for us. What are the biggest aspects of our egos that show up? And that's going to be our expectations, our judgments, our resistance, and our hopes and dreams that we're really attached to, all these outcomes we're attached to. Think of it as like Aladdin's cave, and everything else but your sovereignty is a distraction. Really, everything, all your beliefs, all your ideas, all your hopes, all your everything, everything that people shows you on TV, all of it, all the conversations going on, everything but your sovereignty and consciousness is the treasure that if you touch it, you'll be caught up in distractions that aren't worth your time. And so that's what I'm seeing as the real golden age. What's that promise? It's peace. It's the end of the masculine feminine war. It's the end of the galactic wars. It's the end of the dark order. It's the end of our ideas that we ought to just continue in this way of being with the matrix and false law. And it's a completely different way of life that we all are dreaming about, that we have access to. But that's how I see it.
How do we navigate that? How someone listening now is like, but this part of my life isn't working, but I'm trying to get here, or I don't even know where I'm trying to go. For a lot of people that we talk to, some of y'all are thriving, some of y'all are saying life is good, amazing. What do I keep doing? This is great. I want to discover more of myself. So I don't want to discount you all who are in that place as well. But there's still a navigation that we're tuning into. And I feel and strongly know that even what we're feeling is so elevated that there's like elevated standards to that as well that are available.
Mm-hmm. Well, so here's how I like to navigate it. First, I've got a pretty good pulse on humanity. I've been doing work with people for a very long time, and I've done about probably 25,000 individual sessions with different people over the past 20 years. And so I get the same kinds of questions as an oracle, and there's certain answers that are the same. So we can start there. Most people ask me, what's my purpose? The purpose is the same. The purpose of my rabbit, who's right now hanging out in my room, the purpose of myself, the purpose of everything around you is the same. It's the same in this universe. It's novelty. It's newness, to have a new experience. This conversation has never happened in the whole entire universe ever, and it won't ever happen again. And it's brand new. The idea that there's nothing new under the sun is a terrible lie. We are absolutely constantly in the state of new. The idea that, oh, I wish I could be young again and then know everything I know now. Well, you can, and you're really not that old. It doesn't matter how old you are. This lifetime can never be truly as old as your soul, and the soul knows. So novelty, newness, every day there's something new. It's true. And yes, there's new suffering. That's true too. And that's the next step, to completely, totally revalue suffering. And we're not here to escape suffering. The virtual world wants you to believe that suffering's bad and that you should be getting away into a comfy corner of consciousness. But that actually stagnates innovation. Suffering is the ultimate place for innovation. Everything around us, the internet, my lamps that I'm depending on at the moment, um, everything around us is born of discomfort and suffering, and is born of those levels of innovation where people said, hey, we need to work past 8 p.m. So we need lights. It can't just be candles, and voila, we have electricity and lights born of all of these things. So innovation is actually at its peak right now because humans are at peak pressure, and consciousness under pressure is what suffering really is. But there's always a guarantee. The guarantee is that suffering can be relieved with innovation. And that means internal innovation too. You can trust yourself. If you're still alive now because you're a badass in consciousness for being here on earth at the moment, then that means that you are guaranteed that every time you've suffered, that you were able to survive it and get out of it to this moment now and enjoying this conversation together. So the ever-present now is really ultimately the cure for the egoic issue of expectations. And expectations are always born of our struggles trying to control the future. We try to control the future because we're afraid of suffering. There's nothing to be afraid of, because if you understand that inevitability, and you also understand that there is no death, that we're all going home, back home to the void that is Source God, that we arise from there, and that those journeys are very precious in this universe. They're treasured in consciousness in this universe. Then you can start to chip away at the next step, which is those egoic structures. And the egoic structures are really beautiful talents of the human soul being run through trauma. And when you're traumatized and you don't realize that trauma is actually very valuable and creates innovation, then you hang on to it because that creates those belief systems, those limited beliefs, the structures, and it helps you to then navigate the matrix instead of natural law, which is where we should be navigating. So those 4 structures are expectations, which when you purify it of trauma, then you end up being in the ever-present now, where all the really cool innovation happens and all the playfulness. Judgment gets purified into discernment. Is your discernment is basically being run through trauma, and it creates judgment. So if we say, well, all men are this way, or all women are this way, or all this group of people are this way, obviously these are very limiting ways of perceiving the truth. It's because you've been traumatized. And those traumas are both personal and genetic. And the difference is that personal comes from the heart, and then your mind reacts. Genetic is a full body experience, sort of like being afraid of deep water or being afraid of spiders or snakes. There's a genetic reason for those things, but can we say all snakes are evil? Well, no, we know that's not true. But it doesn't matter to your trauma. So they're going to judge every snake the same, right? And then we have the resistance, obviously. When you purify your trauma and you notice resistance, then you relinquish your personal will to the divine, and you relinquish your expectations and controlling of the future to the divine will, the divine order, which is natural law. Then you surrender. And you surrender because when you think you know what's right, then your knowing blocks you from what is available in consciousness, right? And so attachments is the last thing. When you realize that if you hang on to things and you want them to remain the same, then you're not actually following natural law, where natural change continues to occur. And when you relinquish that attempt to control because you're afraid, then you experience unconditional love. Unconditional love being run through attachments is like trying to run the ocean through a hose. And you think you're in control of it, but really you're swimming in it. So you ought to let it move through you. And then there's the next step, is constant transcendence of the mind. And this is something I've struggled with the most because I'm very psychic and I'm very mental. And these two things, they have a messy relationship. And so what I've been learning to do is to relinquish everything I think, everything, even the good stuff. and I relinquish it. I let it go home to source. I've created a little room, and it's just this beautiful place in my mind that's connected directly to source. And for me, it's this beautiful, pure, very still white light, almost like a still pool. And everything that touches it just goes right home to source. So everything, everyone, all my memories, anything that comes up, all my traumas, even my dreams, my hopes, really good ideas that I think I have, especially lately, just go right into that pool in order to create a peaceful, still state of the mind. And once that happens, then your ability to perceive the bigger truth of the universe really turns on. And you have a great chance right now to cultivate this because we're in a place where the dimensions are opening up. And those dimensions are going to open up whether you think you have access to them or not. More and more and more people are having more and more vivid dreams, becoming more psychic naturally because that's a natural human superpower. But it also elevates and magnifies your ability to feel and your ability to know what's good for you, which comes from the gut, not the mind. So now we have this chance, and really, it is the opportunity to create the open floor plan that's nice and clean and clear, where we collect all of the treasure of our experiences and we utilize that to then set up the stage with reverence for the new world. It starts with you, and this is how you navigate it. It's through those steps.
I love the way that you laid down the steps. And I have to go back to the mind because this is also part of the process of relinquishing the mind as we have known it and how it has served us and how we have served it. And there's a natural law that's emanating in our capacity to not only have the sensation, again, the intuition, the gut feeling that's coming through, but to also have the discernment that's coming in through the mind to articulate it in such a way for a new creation. So there's an evolution of the mind and our psychic abilities and our physical body to integrate to carry forward this vibrational intelligence in a new way. And it's all in order with the divine orchestration that happens through natural law. It's very scientific, if you will, but it's also we're accessing greater levels of that intelligence because we are learning to relinquish what we thought we have known. It's fascinating.
It is, and we have a this time that's happening in consciousness where we're going to have to relearn everything.
Mm.
And it's very literal. Like people say, well, we know a lot about the human body. And I start to laugh and I say, well, only recently did we discover the premovascular system, an entire system in the body. And
Yeah.
only recently did we discover an entire new organ, the mesentery. Only recently have we started to understand how illness really works. And only recently have we really started to understand our own history and who we really are. So all these wonderful times of disclosure, they're very special and they happen regularly. This one's different. This
Mm.
one is imperative. So it's part of our own imperative. We've created it ourselves by asking enough questions with our mind. So the mind is good at formulating questions, but ultimately we have to be prepared to let all of that go, and believe nothing for now, and be willing to allow the mind to do what it's really good at. The brain mind being the seat of what we're talking about, it's sort of two different things. So the mind is able to bring up a lot of recall, and but the brain mind has many superpowers, and memory is not one of them. The heart is the seat of body memory physically. And so the brain mind, what is it good at? Well, it's good at perception, but it's internal and external perception, and it's actually perception of light. The third eye and the brain mind are really good at light perception because the third eye is a photon receiver, just like your eyeballs. And so the third eye perceives whatever you might recall because the brain mind literally presents it with a picture of photons, except for a small group of people who have aphasia on the planet who can't do that. Most people have that ability, but they can also perceive the light of the universe, which is why we're capable of psychic skill or remote viewing or anything like that. And everyone is. Some people, like myself, we have it sort of blown open at an early age or whatever. And yes, it's like learning how to bench press. It's simply just a muscle. And everybody starts out with a certain ability. Most people are doing internal recall. And so it's sort of like only doing this exercise versus this one. And you're going to get different results, but everybody can practice it. And so the mind, when it comes to logic, when it comes to pros and cons, when it comes to transactions, that's what the brain minds get at. But we have to relinquish this concept that we only have one brain and that this brain mind can only do so many things. It has a limited ability to do certain things. It can create and it can be logical, like I said, but where are the other skills? We've been told that this is where memory is and that this is where knowing is, and that's not true. Memories from the heart space, literally, the physical heart has neurons, it doesn't regenerate. It's been with you since the beginning of your existence here as you in this body. And then the knowing actually comes from the gut. While the heart mind remembers and she or he doesn't magnify or belittle or anything like that. The brain mind's really good at making stuff up and making molehills out of mountains and mountains out of molehills. But the heart doesn't do that. The heart has a steady and very complete, constant electromagnetic memory, which tells all your brand new cells every day, all day long, your complete history in one go. It's not linear. It's literally like a sphere of knowing that is yours, just this body's. Then we have the gut mind, and the gut mind actually has nothing to do with you. The gut mind is your biome, the biome that has a longer relationship with this planet than you do. And so our physical bodies, which you are not, that is simply one of the dimensions of your consciousness. You are the light bulb in the projector, not the film, not the person watching the film, and not the story that you're in. And so your gut mind is that thriving and surviving knowing, the true divine knowing. So we have divine seeing and perception, divine feeling, and divine knowing. And the gut mind is divine knowing and it's survival and thriving on our planet. We can tell because here's your practice, your homework for now is to ask the other two brains. Bow to this one and say, love you, brain. Love you so much. Please step aside. I know you've been trying to do the job of three brains and you can't. So let me really get into full body discernment. Bow to your mind. Gratitude always shuts everything off. If you can bow to your mind and say thank you, then your brain's like, oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then we come down to the heart. We ask the heart or the gut, hey, and you ask a question that you know the answer to. Ask a yes or a no question that you already know the answer to. Do I love my cat? Do I like to eat rocks? And you're going to feel your body actually contract in a no, and the heart and the gut will contract if it says no. Or it'll open up, it'll feel warm, it'll feel good if it says yes. And so if you practice this, you're going to start to reorient yourself. You'll have a more full body discernment of awareness. And so that way your gut, who is the bacterium, the biome, and the more bacterium you have, the more connection you have to Gaia, the more connection you have to the divine knowing that she has. So cultivating your gut biome is a very good idea for many reasons, especially spiritual ones, not just health. But that biome, that one will always inform you correctly in not only how to survive, right? So we have adages like, I had a bad gut feeling, so I left that party or whatever. or had a good gut feeling about that guy, and then he ended up doing something good, right? But then there's the thriving part. And this is for those of you who are trying to deal with changes in your wellness, changes in your livelihood, right? Changes in your relationships, and you might feel in limbo and liminal space and in between space, very frustrating to be in because it's sort of like being in a coat closet that has two doors and both doors are shut. So if you feel like that, this is a good idea to listen to your gut, because your gut will point you in the direction of better livelihood, better relationships, better life choices for you. And
Mm.
if you start to follow your gut, try it exclusively for a couple of days. Go shopping when you go to the grocery store. Only let your gut pick stuff, and you'll find that your gut's not going to pick junk food. It's not going to pick chips and stuff and or bad food. But if it tries to, you might be dealing with parasitic stuff, so you need to do a cleanse, perhaps. Parasites can try to run the show, and that's very real. Many of us do suffer from that. We used to deworm our animals and our children and everybody, and then we stopped doing that. But we still really need to, because parasites, there's a lot of parasites per human on our planet, and that's normal. But we need to reclaim this ability to be really understanding in the dynamic of the human body and how to reach that divine perception, the divine feeling, and the divine knowing. Your body has it, and you are not your body, but your body serves you as your very best friend. The greatest love of your life is actually your body, because your body loves you more than you can ever imagine until you try to leave it. And then you're like, oh, I can see now how much my body loved me. So that's how I would help people navigate this right now in their bodies.
Beautiful. Elizabeth, I'm going to open up to Q&A here in a little bit. So if you all have questions, raise your hands. We'll get into the chat also and do that. And as people are raising their hands also, I want to ask you, so, okay, we have these templates and they're helping us with the attunement to the golden age. And there's a pathway, really, there's truly an alchemy and a path and natural law intelligence that's guiding us through those templates. What if I fall short of one, or what if I just can't get a few of them, or what if I just don't get any of them because for some reason I can't tune in? What's to say that we're equipped to navigate this and to navigate it fully?
For sure. So that's why templates are not really things that you have to get. The first one, which
I
is
appreciate that.
already done,
Right.
is the body map. The body map is just the way the body works. It's a law. And so the body map, it's a very rich class because I had a lot to pack into that one. But the body has already all these wonderful maps. And these maps are already existent beyond you. You don't have to get them. You don't have to understand them with your mind. The next one that I'll teach is universal compassion. And this one's going to be especially hard for people because I'm going to be really real with you. I've stopped censoring myself the past year. Um, I censored myself for a long time because of mainly fear, but now I've stopped, and I'm going to give it to you real. What does real universal compassion really mean? And I'm going to give you a lot of examples and how powerful this is as a concept. So these templates aren't for you to get with your mind. They are there to work for you. The body map already is, just like natural law is in your body. Universal compassion already exists, and therefore it can work for you. So every template is simply a set of patterns that is going to work on you. It works for you. You don't have to get it. In fact, my argument with most of my classes is don't listen to my classes like a normal class. Don't sit down and take notes. Sit back and or do something else and play it in the background. Sit back and relax and fall asleep if you want to. let it move through you, let it work for you, let it work on you. These are patterns that will shift the matrix beliefs, shift the trauma that needs to be removed out of your field so you can value it properly and perceive it. Because when I talk about universal compassion, for example, you're going to hear stories that seem like they're near impossible for anyone to come out of those with compassion, but I'm going to show you the narrow path. And these things will work on you. They work for you. It's not about getting it. You don't have to understand it. In fact, I don't really want you to. I want you to let it work for you like a pressure washer that will bring up and dissolve and bring into more refinement what you really are. And it gives you more of a chance to be this bigger, better, more glorious homo luminous that you are. So the templates are patterns that exist beyond you, whether or not you're hanging out in the matrix or not. And it's going to allow you to see the matrix stuff that needs to be seen, that needs to come up, so that you can examine it and work on it. And you can work on it by simply accepting that these things exist, accepting that that resistance shows up, or that judgment, or that expectation, or that attachment. And then you get out of that because you are in a constant state of transcendence through surrender. And so really the best way to let them work on you is that when things come up, when any resistance comes up, you notice it and you hand it back off to source in the divine order, because that's where all the work gets done anyway. It's not bypassing. We're not doing that anymore. We're at the 11th hour in consciousness now. It doesn't matter what it takes for you to put it back to source, God. You have to let it end up there anyway. So whatever you can do, keep putting it out to source. So that's why you don't have to mentally necessarily understand what these classes are going to offer you.
That's wonderful. And we'll get into the special offer in a little bit, but I thought it was really important to answer that because there's this thought form, and it comes from the places that we no longer are, that we're still carrying the echoes of it. What if I don't get this? What if I don't understand this? What if I drop one and everything collapses? What if I don't make it because I haven't made it in other ways that I thought I was supposed to make it? So it's just the repatterning and the reorganization into, again, the natural law that's unfolding. And I so appreciate how you're being much more direct.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, it's calling me also. I cannot be not direct, and I tell anybody that I'm working with, I'm holding you to a higher standard. I am willing to be tough on you and to hold space for you, to push you, to be part of that compression that's allowing the blossoming to come through. And we've held space and we've held each other for a long time, and it's been beautiful and very empathic because we've needed some of that, to be honest with you. Some of it was cuddling, but hey, we're all good now. But I feel that calling on the 11th hour, and it's time that we put into living our lives through the embodiment that we've accumulated and allow that to expand us beyond where we thought it was going to take us, because it's taking us so much more further.
Yeah, my true um, willingness now to stop censoring myself comes from a deep reverence for humanity.
Love that. Yes. Beautiful. All right. You guys who raise your hand, you're going to get the truth. So be
Yes. It's so true.
you can turn off your video now. I'm just warning you. No, I'm kidding. Amanda, let's start with you. Welcome to the call.
Hi.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi. I have so much fear right now.
Hey, that means you're on the right
Good.
track. If you
Yes.
weren't,
Oh, I don't know.
if
I've
you're not a
had,
little afraid, you're not paying attention, right?
uh, I guess, no, I've been trying to seek support from a place of being completely shut off to my gut feeling. For someone who's highly, highly sensitive, to completely feel like I'm in the dark now, and I'm not so great experiences that have kind of set me back more, and I don't really have that room right now, so I'm so nervous, but I'm like in a place where it's like, do I just stay here or do I keep trying to find someone to help me? Um,
We all need help
I'm
right
just
now.
I know it's
I
just
need help.
finding that like it's there's a really fine line from something that's going to help me and something that sets me back and something that empowers me. I feel like less is more for me right now. And I know part of me is like
You need gentleness,
um
honey.
wanting to stay where I am.
Do you mean like your living
Yeah,
space?
my state,
Mm-hmm.
my state, like the state that I'm in, like not last year I had a lot of um unexpected things happen, and but that also propelled me and liberated me, although I was shattered, and I really connected to my essence. And I think the personal, like the power that I felt um, within me and amplified me. And so I kind of, I mean, there was many factors that brought me to this place, but now I feel like I'm almost trying to like I'm scared that I'm accepting
Yeah, let's see where Elizabeth can take you with this now because
it.
it's right. It's like landing it, and there's something that's coming through. And Elizabeth, what do you as a seer and the recommendation for understanding those different states where it seems like we can't see or don't know? Um, how would you guide Amanda in the short time that we have here? If we had a full session, Amanda, it'd be amazing, right? Um,
Well,
I'm giving
I'm
you,
trying to find that person. It's just like I said, I've had
that's right.
not
Let's see
so
what
good
Elizabeth has here.
experiences.
Yeah, let's see what Elizabeth can offer right now.
Mhm,
I understand you're trying to find that person. You need a guide. I get that. But you definitely need something gentle. But first, you need to find somebody who's mastered the stillness that has been able to go into that I am presence that you're talking about, your essence, right? And so I would suggest that the first teacher you find is someone who's masterful at meditation and start there, because otherwise you're going to find that the shattering over and over and over again, the exhaustion that Sarah's talking about, everyone's talking about feeling isolated, the shattering that keeps occurring, and then you're like, well, it's supposed to be a good thing, and then I also feel crazy. Well, you're also experiencing this as like a little ship in a storm, but you're not realizing because the waves are really big that there's a whole fleet of us and that you're not alone. That's the second step. You can't feel the second dimension until you're able to be very still in that I am essence. So in order to feel the connection of Indra's net, the connection to all of these other people who are just like you, who are trying to get out of the matrix, who shut their gut down because they understood that they are surrounded in real danger. And that real danger is a lot of lies about how we're supposed to make a living and how we're supposed to survive and do XYZ. And all that's shattering too. No wonder you feel
mhm,
this sense of emergency and urgency, the sensation of aloneness and needing that lifeline. The first person that you find over this next year, and it's always good to stick with somebody for a year, right, is going to be a master at meditation. So find someone that knows how to be in the stillness, because if you can get there, then the next step will arise. Then you're going to find the next teacher who's going to teach you how to connect to all of those other light workers beyond the 3D. It's
mhm,
actually deeper than the 3D. It's the second dimension. And then you'll
mhm,
find a teacher who can help you navigate turning your essence into livelihood, into generosity and abundance in the 3D. And then you'll find the next teacher who teaches you how to dream and how to use your empath skills as a superpower and those sorts of things. Okay. It's not going to be one person. It's going to be a set of people who have great mastery, who are going to lead you through dimensions of consciousness. Eventually, there'll be somebody who's attained a very great state of perfection in consciousness, and you'll sit with them, that they're going to be like the 11th teacher from the 11th dimension, right? And so it's never going to just be one, but the next 10 years, you've set yourself up for this extraordinary journey. Find first that person who can help you create stillness through meditation. That's my advice to you. It's going to help you to get out of that feeling of chaos that you're in, because you can feel so much. But you're an empath, so that means you have the skill. Ultimately, the other side of the empath is the perfect stillness of the I am presence. Master that, and then the rest will come. Trust it. Trust that.
Beautiful, Amanda. Amanda, can I recommend something for you that I highly encourage you to do? It's simple, it's short. All of us on the call can do it. Stand in front of a mirror, about 3 feet apart. Look directly in your left eye. Do this every morning or every evening for at least 5 to 10 minutes a day. I recommend 10. And repeat these, and you can come back and listen to the replay. I love you. I trust you. I support you. Then I want you to repeat the statements, but I want you to start with Amanda, I love you. Amanda, I trust you. Amanda, I support you. Every day for 20 days at the minimum, give yourself the gift of you for just 10 minutes a day. And you'll start feeling the shift, I promise you. You'll start opening even more to the awareness that you are functioning from the gut. You just maybe don't realize it. Aware that you are showing up for you. But maybe you just don't know what that looks like in this particular way because you're navigating something that could be scary or something new. But it's there for you. But just that is a simple practice. So you could resonate in that field to be the magnet for that next level of mentorship that you're ready to receive. And so it's coming for you. And so do that as a practice again. Come back and listen to the replay. It's all here. And I open you to receive. And blessings to you. You totally got this. I know you do.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Blessings. Okay, let's continue. Barbara, welcome to the call.
Hello. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, nice to see you again.
You too.
I just appreciate you so much. I want to ask you a quick question first. Do you have a book that explains all this stuff? Because I mean, I can hear you like sentence by sentence, and I am making notes, and it's like you're in the middle of explaining something, but my mind is still back there. So I need a book that I can like maybe get through a page a day or something.
Well, I have a few. Most of my classes I've transcribed, and I'm turning them currently into ebooks, and it's quite the project because I've taught hundreds of classes. But right now, for at least the Three Minds, I do have the Three Minds ebook, and I have a handful of others. But most of my classes have transcriptions available, and I'm promising now that this next year I've 100% dedicated myself to turning all of this work into actual books that people can actually read properly and that are structured and have headings and can be searched properly too. So you're not just flipping through in one giant paragraph.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's coming.
Okay.
It's just that my voice has been my main way of teaching. And now I finally have the support in order to be able to turn all of this into written actual books that can be published. So it's just been a matter of time.
Did you have another question, Barbara? Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Did you have another question other than the book?
Yeah. I just wanted to know about the book, but the real question was, I signed up for your class that was a couple of days ago, Elizabeth. And I realized after I signed up for it, it was already over. So I'm assuming I'm getting a recording or a transcript or something.
Yes, I have a really good assistant that
Okay.
has saved my butt. And if you email her and you just tell her, she'll find you and she'll get you whatever you need. Sometimes,
Okay.
like John and I have experienced over many, many years, we have to deal with the censoring of the email systems. And
Oh,
so you
yeah,
might have
right.
been sent a replay and it might
Right.
have gone into spam or even blocked. So
Sure.
keep reaching out,
Okay.
especially to my assistant.
Yeah, because I need to know more about the light bodies. I didn't know there was 12. I was kind of reading some of your information. And I'm actually putting on a course called Ignite Your Rainbow Light Body, but I
Yeah.
don't know anything about light bodies or
Well,
rainbow light bodies.
that'll be good. And let's do customer service through email and things like that. So because I want to stay in the momentum of the call,
Right,
what's the
right.
right. Thank you,
Sure.
Barbara. Good to see
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Barbara.
Yeah.
Super glad to talk to you.
Hey, Chris, do me a favor and put the link for the special offer in the chat box, and y'all click on that. We're gonna ask Elizabeth to go through these 12 weeks with her that you're gonna have of getting into natural law, the implications, again, these templates that are available. But for y'all, click on that though. Aparajita, I always get it wrong because I want to do it Spanish. For Aparajita, let's go to you. What's your
Yeah,
question
hi.
for Elizabeth?
Yeah, it's Aparajita. Hi, thank you so much.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. It's such a blessing to be on this call with you, both of you. Thank
Mm.
you. So my question is like, I'm really feeling a lot of things and a lot of things are going on in my life. But what I am really feeling is I'm not feeling anything in the collective. It seems as if it is only me, all I'm alone in this. I see everything is good around me. What I mean is everything is good in their lives. They're doing well. It's only me who is struggling and going through a deep turmoil, as if I'm feeling like only me who is feeling this and nothing else is happening around me. And I start questioning, is it even real? Like, does this mean anything or go anywhere? It seems as if I'm falling into a deep abyss.
Yeah, this is what's happening to a lot of people because your orientation of consciousness is no longer going to get you where you thought it was going to go. And what I mean by that is that we keep orienting ourselves thinking that we are the body. That's the name of your body, the Aparajita. What a lovely name. That's not you. So the deep turmoil you're experiencing, it's actually, and the feeling of being alone, that's actually your body. Your body's saying, she thinks she's me. And she's not. And I don't know how to deal with this. And this is not gonna work. And so it's sort of like you're in this position where you think that you are in the 3D, that you really think that you are this body. And it seems like it sort of, it feels like it. You can, like, touch your face and you can purposefully do things. You can write an email, you can make a phone call. You can say, I'm going to move my left hand, and it moves. And so then you actually think you're the 3D body. This is all a lie. That's not real. It's not true. This is why you feel this way. You need to back up. So remember what I said earlier, take this metaphor and really sit with it. And this will help you to get out of this dark feeling you're feeling. It's really important that you're going through this. It's all in perfect timing. We're set up really close to solstice where a lot of harmony is going to happen. And this new harmony that you can receive now. So that metaphor of the projector, you are not the person watching the movie go on where everybody else is doing better and you seem to be suffering. That's a big movie. None of that's real. If you really got into it, it's just an illusion that you can touch it and experience it. And then there's the body who has all these sensations, and you keep owning them, and you keep thinking that your depression or that your isolation or that you're feeling crazy is you. But if you backed up even farther, you'd say, well, you know, what's making this body look this way and be this way? Well, we could say, well, DNA. Well, DNA is full of a lot of data. Most of it's not even yours. It comes from your family, and it comes from 800,000 years of people that came before you, many billions of people. Is that you? Well, no, you're not that either. So you back up even farther. And then what? Well, you're the light in the projector. That's you. You're a singular energy. You don't live in the phenomena. You're not the chaos. You're not the hormones. You're not the data. You're none of those things. You are a singular energy, a quality of light. That's a fact. And your body is wishing that you two could have a relationship. When you orient yourself as the body, it's as if you're telling your partner, well, I am you. So everything that you're doing, I am that. And they're like, wait a minute, but you're not. I want to have a relationship with you. I want to have like a give and take. I want to help you to grow, and I want you to grow, and all these. And then, you know, that, so separate yourself from the body, back up into what's called the I am presence. I am, I exist. I am not the body. I'm not the experiences. I'm not the story. I'm none of these things. I am. And if you keep saying that, and you keep telling your body, I'm not my worries. I'm not my frustrations. I'm not the dark night of the soul. I'm not my breakthroughs. I am. And then your body and you are going to have a different relationship. And do what John said. Do some of this slight separating where you look the left eye. The reason somebody asked, the reason why you use the left eye is because traditionally in mysticism, that's where the soul's energy comes through the most.
Mhm.
And so talk to your body separate from yourself. Keep doing that and start to retrain your brain. You've been trained by the matrix to believe that you are the body. Therefore, you'll never be satisfied. But if you are the soul, if you're the soul, then your body will be happily satisfied by your presence. And then you can listen to her. And you can listen to her, and she's going to tell you what she needs. And it's going to be a whole different relationship. You're not alone. Your body's a symbiotic organism being run by billions of beings that are not you, and they're madly in love with you. And you can't experience that love if you keep thinking that you're them, right? Try this. Just reorient yourself and make that your dedicated practice for the next 20 days. As you go through this solstice, reorient yourself entirely and see if it doesn't completely shift this feeling of aloneness and desperateness. That's actually not you. That's not your soul. That's your body. That's your body being upset. That's your body feeling like your soul's not paying attention to her. So try it. Reorienting ourselves out of the 3D is absolutely key, but it's not because we're heading towards the 5th dimension. It's because we have to start from the 1st dimension. Let's get there first, and then the rest comes. The I am presence arises directly from God. And then you and the body can have a new, different time of things. It's going to be a different love affair, and you won't feel so alone, darling.
Thank you so much. Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the blessings
Namaste.
too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Namaste, love. Hey, y'all, let's go to Elizabeth's special offer. The link's in the chat box. Click on that or open up a new browser and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Elizabeth34. It'll take you to that same offer page. And before we start there, Elizabeth, with Aparajita and all of us, where we're going through this comfort or the feeling alone and the chemical response that we have to those waves that come through. I love that you say that we have to begin from the first. And so even with the awareness that we're navigating and swimming through a relational dynamic with these energies, understanding that as we sit with it, it's not going to consume us, but really allowing it to navigate through, we formulate a different relationship with it. Again, for me, this comes back again to natural law.
Yes. Natural law is what we're all going to experience when we're willing to be the I am, we're willing to value what we've learned from our DNA, but take the film out of the projector. Then what's going to happen? That's Homo luminous.
Mm-hmm.
And natural law is already happening. Natural law's always been there. Natural law allows crazy things like the Matrix to happen in order to push evolution into great punctuated events that are necessary. So that's why we can't sit around and like blame anything or be mad about stuff or be judgmental about things. Natural law is the divine order, and it's the divine timing of things. It's when you begin to tap into it and practice with it, and these templates help us to do that. But when you tap into it and you practice with it, you become an adept at recognizing what's possible and then relinquishing any of those things that we talked about, attachments or trying to control it or saying, well, I think so-and-so deserves this outcome or this karma. You don't have to know. You don't have to do. It's a state of being. Natural law elevates humans. Human law keeps you in a box. And a lot of human laws are really dumb, right? We know that. And it's culturally contextual, and culture constantly changes, but law doesn't, because it's tied up in political economy. Natural law doesn't work like that. Natural law is already functioning. Natural law is already available, but it elevates you. It gives you your divine rights, some of which are perfect self-expression, divine right for generosity and abundance, which cannot work separate from one another, the divine right for the word to become real. And so many times now, and you're going to all start seeing it even more. Someone asked about the deja vu and things like that. You're going to start seeing these things more and more because of the place and space we're in, the nature of literally the electromagnetic field lowering so we can be able to access so much new light. But you're going to start to see that you're going to think of people and they're going to call you suddenly, or you're going to think of someone and they're going to show up at the store. You try to think of people you want to talk to instead of people you don't. And then you're gonna say stuff out loud. It's a possibility in your mind, but then it becomes real because you have that power. Your word becomes law because you are a creator. Source God moves through you. So the more we can become in the ever-present now, micro navigate reality in that now, and the more you keep owning your creator being status as the I am, not the body, not the trauma, not the personality, not the culture, the I am, then the more natural law will work for you. It already does. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here right now. So that's working even more dramatically now because we're coming out of a time of density, literally, in our galaxy, out of a Kali Yuga. We're in a Dwapara Yuga. We're in an in-between time heading towards that Satya Yuga, but this one's the permanent golden age where we all get to practice natural law as the I am. So people like myself were just voices of that other realm to remind everybody I'm just a cheerleader for humanity, to remind us what's possible and what's already available. You don't have to work in natural law. You just have to be. There's the difference.
Beautiful. Well, the special offer against the new templates of the Golden Age that guide us through those processes of the divinity of natural law. So y'all, if you haven't clicked on the special offer, go ahead and click on it now and follow along here as Elizabeth shares what you're going to receive in these weeks with her in reference to the new templates of the Golden Age. And Elizabeth, please guide us through this.
So this one's really simple.
Awesome.
It's 2 parts, but most of it's live except for one class, which I already taught. So the 12 templates, which there's no list, my friends, because these are literally ever present. Literally. Each week you'll get a message inviting you to the next live class. It's every other Monday. And those 12, they are in the ever present. They're arising now. Sorry, I have a backup battery going off. I'll be right back, John. Sorry about that.
Don't worry. All right, as Elizabeth makes her way back, y'all. If you're on the special offer, it's $197 for these 12 live classes with Elizabeth. Again, these are live that you're going in. If you miss a live class, and there'll be some adjustments with the solstice and the time changes, with daylight savings. But that's easily adjusted. That doesn't happen until March, by the way. So again, this is going on for a while. And to go this deep and this wide with Elizabeth and to be in the resonance of those templates, it's like the way I like to equate it is that instead of you bopping up and down and being affected by the waves of the ocean, you're actually in co-creation where the waves are going, right? And again, that's part of the natural law. That's part of the becoming. It's not working so hard to try to be something, but understanding that you are the fabric that is causing the waves to ripple in the way that they do. And so it's profound teaching. And Elizabeth, I'm telling you, she's got her finger on the pulse. She is coming with great wisdom with things that I feel have been coming up as well. There's a collective ping that I know different people are receiving. I'm sure some of y'all, if not all of y'all in different ways, can feel the familiarity with this conversation, can feel the familiarity with the expansion that's taken place. And when we come together in this way, and we have someone guiding the show, if you will, the intelligence that is pinging in each one of us has this opportunity to rise and to blossom something, not just for ourselves, but for everybody else in the collective group as well. So and I think that's part of the golden age also, where the genius of everybody rising supports the genius of everybody else rising, right? Elizabeth, welcome back.
That's well said. Sorry about that. This is the challenges of having blackouts occasionally. So these templates, they are arising, like he's saying, and they're coming from us. And I get a chance to have a couple weeks break before something new comes up. So we don't actually have the exact list of what is going to come up, some of which I know for sure will come up. Universal compassion, conscious death, some really big pieces that have been some of the most powerful questions and suggestions I've got from you, right? So if things come up for you, I want you to email me. I want you to connect to me and say, I really want you to teach a class about X, Y, and Z. And please add your voice, because that collective voice gives us a chance to actually have these live classes together. So there's one that's already done, the body map, which was very fun and very profound. And we got to bring a lot of fun things together to that class. And then the next one is coming up will be universal compassion on this coming Monday. But the second part, and this is mainly a live offering, totally, which I don't normally do. The second part is that I've been doing a mentoring every other Wednesday. So each week you're going to meet me either on a Monday to do a template together for 11 weeks, every other Monday, or the next week you get on a Wednesday and where we get to do mentoring. I just did a mentoring yesterday. It's very intimate. It's very profound. I'll give like a little bit of an overview of what's been going on the past couple of weeks, because that's literally where we're navigating right now, is these intimate moments of the now, where I bring the personal experience, including my own, to the table, but then I help you elevate it to a more universal collective experience so that you can feel the I am presence and how we can move it on up to connect to the Indra's net and to all these other dimensions. And we connect it to what's happening, but I teach you how to live the daily life of natural law. So this is the practical where we sit together, and I'm going to do 6 of these live mentorings for you in this package so that you can take away what you need to just be able to have a actual practical life connection. And I answer all sorts of questions, whatever comes up for people. And it's really quite fun. It's very intimate. And I enjoy those mentoring classes very much. So we get to practice natural law. And like, my dog died, so what do I do? How does natural law apply to that? How does natural law apply to me changing jobs? I feel like I need to move. How do I even know what do I do? Practical. So that's what I'm hoping to offer you in this. And so it's very straightforward, but we get to do a lot of work together over the next few months.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's amazing. I highly encourage you to participate. To take advantage of the special offer, just click on the buy now button. It's $197. There's a 2 payment option. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you want to try it for whatever reason, it's just not working out for you. It's a no-brainer to tune in. But how wonderful to be in harmony with what's rising through other people and community, and with Elizabeth to support each other and guide and be in the field with others who have the capacity to really navigate this ocean that we're crossing together, truly. So again, it's wonderful. I hope you guys take advantage of it. It's part of why we have Beyond the Ordinary show, so that you can go deeper in these ways. So thank you for putting this, Elizabeth, together.
My pleasure.
Thank you for the generosity. Thank you for the intimate sessions. Amazing. Yeah, this is fantastic. And so many people are raving about your classes.
I saw that and I'm
the
very
chat
humbled.
box, in the chat box, there's like chat after chat after chat, not even questions, just how amazing your classes are. So, and if any of y'all are new and haven't worked with Elizabeth more deeply, again, I highly encourage you to. And with that, Elizabeth, let's go ahead and take a little more Q&A before we end today.
Yes.
And Lori, let's go to you. Welcome, Lori.
Hey, Elizabeth. Yay. I've been in your courses, the 12
Yes.
the 12 dimensions. But the problem I have is all these courses that John is offering are just like, they're so fascinating, and there's overlaps between what you offer and what other people are offering.
Yeah.
Plus I have my own life outside, so it's really hard to
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, I wanted to question, are you still having a retreat in the spring this year for those who have
Not sure.
attended the class?
I put everything on hold because Ecuador went into a big shift and change. My intent is to do some live work together, yes, this next year.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure when, but as soon as I know, I'm gonna nail it down, and so that we can all plan it together.
Okay. Because
All right.
I have a friend from my
did you have a specific question in reference to today's call?
Well, I wanted to ask you first, why the left eye when you're looking at the mirror, John?
I think Elizabeth answered that. It's
Oh.
it's like a gateway to the soul and to higher self and clarity. It's also a connection into the feminine and divine mother in different ways. So if someone's looking to be nurtured or to be held or feels alone, that divine connection to mother is super beneficial as well. And when you look mother directly in the eye that way, when you look away, you know that something's up. And so you look back and you make sure that you have direct eye contact, and the truth that is told eye to eye, you'll feel the connection. It can't be ignored, but it's a beautiful, if you try it, really the experience of it will inform you as to your why. You'll definitely have a, if you're sincere with the practice of it, you'll have a direct correlation and relationship with what that connection is for you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I think there was a question I had to ask. Since I have you face to face, it's kind of nice to see your
You
face.
see.
Can you tell me what star system I'm a part of, or am I part of everything? Because I've done that soul Hebrew system with Ariella that was in that 2-day weekend thing a couple weekends ago. And I did my son, and he supposedly was never had an Earth life.
Let's see what Elizabeth, do you even tune into that? Is that something
Sure.
was called? Okay. Thank you, Lori.
Well, with the way that you look physically, and of course how your personality is, and how you also like to learn a lot of different methodologies, that's very Pleiadian. And that's a Pleiadian trait. And so Pleiadians are natural healers, but they also love to collect all sorts of methods. And how you might play with all the different courses that you've got a hold of, let them actually be sort of like a divination, and let your soul speak to you through your heart and pick which class your spirit wants to hear each day. Sort of like playing with cards, right? Or it can help you to just not do it with the mind, but do it with feeling. And so see what resonates with you each day. See which pops up. Pull them all up on your computer and let your spirit pick which one you want to listen to. So that's a good way to play with it.
Yeah, that's what's going on with me. It's like, oh man, there's so many wonderful things out
That's
here.
very
It's the
Pleiadian.
next shiny object. I want to get
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Blessings to you, Lori. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming on. Rama, let's go to you. Welcome, Rama.
Hey, Rama.
Oh, Rama hung up. Well,
She ended up
I
putting
think
her
she,
video
I
off.
think she
There
probably
she
just,
is.
I've muted, but I can't see you anymore.
oh,
How
okay.
strange. Oh, video. Let's see if that, what is going on?
No worries. What's your question for Elizabeth?
I can't seem to get back onto the screen where I see everybody.
That's all right. We can hear you though.
You can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Elizabeth, I absolutely adore you.
Thank you, Rama.
I loved Prismatic Human. I feel pulled inside and settled, and I feel also so pulled out for Soul's Home. And it goes on and on. I have everything I need. I have so many gifts and so much abundance right now. And I just feel so restless as well. I keep coming back to Soul, and I would just love to have your feedback.
This is simply a phenomena that we're all experiencing, and it's the very quickening spin towards solstice. So it feels very chaotic, and it feels very like that restlessness. And it's because it's sort of like a drain, and we're coming real close, closer and closer, and it starts to ramp up. And so that restlessness of the external, that's gonna come to a very beautiful still point on solstice, the 21st, at 4:19 a.m. Eastern time. But that is gonna feel like perfect stillness. Here, out in the middle of nowhere in the jungle, what happens is really wild. When you hit these solstice points, and I'm on the equator, it's very profound. Everything stops, the animals, the plants, everything, nature becomes perfectly still. And there's literally, it's like being in the eye of a storm, and it's very profound. And there can be a reshuffling of consciousness so that when you come out of the other side, there's going to be, this time, it's very special. Part of the restlessness is that there's a harmonic convergence getting ready to happen. So right now it's like this, and it feels kind of odd. It's not necessarily bad, though people can feel it as chaotic. And then it's going to converge. And that harmonic convergence of the ley lines with the electromagnetic current sheet of the black hole, that's going to happen for 96 days. And so the next 96 days after solstice is a perfect time for the recreation of everything. So you'll have a more deep divine knowing if you can tap into that stillness and your I am as you have been. Let that guide you for being able to go into the creative sphere that will last all the way through February. And so we're going to move from the dragon year into the snake year of great wisdom. And the snake year is a time of great healing, great wisdom. And so that's going to be very, very special. So that's when things will settle. It's not just you. It's actually where we're at in space and what's happening to the planet right now.
Mm. I love that you bring up that we're not just having the individuated experience. We are, and there's compassion and honor and curiosity and reverence and so much to it. But I really appreciate how you ground this in. It's like, wait, there's more. It's like, yes, you're experiencing, and so are others. And in that, it provides a space beyond the solitude, but also reminds me of the sovereignty that we are navigating this through. And what we've accumulated again up to now in the maturity spiritually, energetically, in this homo luminous embodiment that we are illuminating, that we get to bring the evolved brain, not the mind, the evolved brain into that space and take our questions a little more deeper into asking where that truth lies, because the superficial emotion, the physical chemical response when we feel like something's off, that's the first response.
Yes.
But in the stillness and the dropping in and becoming more aware and just having these points of reference, wait, it's not just, I can't be the only one that's experiencing this.
Mm.
And having enough space to drop down to question, it's like somehow when we have community, even if we may not know who community is, it buoys us into finding a resilience within us in that contraction to discover something new. And that, again, that's why I love these courses of Elizabeth and the way that she presents them, because it's that buoying into being in accord with something else that's unfolding that we get to navigate but surrender into simultaneously. So it's amazing what's coming through. And it's and Elizabeth, your capacity to, as a seer, to translate what's just on the road ahead and to bring it here, it's profound. It helps all of us to embrace the changes that are inevitable as we step forward.
Yeah, and I like to be able to bring the measurable to the table, and I study every kind of science that I can get my hands on, and astrophysics as well. But to be able to speak to the spiritual experience and then apply it to the literal actual place in space we're in, it gives us a sense of a galactic collective, a connection to our universe, that universal self that's always there, but is very hard to tap into if we don't have the language or the framework to even understand it. So I'm very blessed by Source being able to use me as a conduit for that and just get out of the way.
And then step right back in so we can learn, right? Yes, amazing. Elizabeth, this has been wonderful. Thank you. Y'all, the special offer of Elizabeth, a whole bunch of y'all are already saying that you purchased it, you're going in, you're going to see each other.
Good. I'm so glad. It'll be fun.
That's amazing. The link for the special offers in the chat box. Y'all clicking it now. If you need time to read it, clicking it now. You don't have to wait for the replay page to come out to start reading it, and take advantage of the course. And of course, we'll run the replay all weekend long. We'll send a link out in an email. Watch for that to access the replay, the special offers for the week, Elizabeth's course. And again, you can always access replays on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. Elizabeth, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
just
you, Jen.
such a huge open heart, so generous and so embodied
Thank you.
in the wisdom that you're carrying. And I so appreciate that you're just not holding back.
Yeah,
It's
same. High five.
thank you. I got that. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for being here. I love you guys. Amazing call. Elizabeth, I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bless everybody.